Hello and welcome to Mid-Kent College. Thank you for signing up for this live webinar. My name is Karen and I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes. So this is Ant from Applied Science, who's going to shortly be going through more about his subject area that you're here to find out more about. Now, visitors to our normal open days tell us that they really value the chance to look around the campuses, but obviously we can't provide that for you at the moment. But if you do have any questions, please pop them in the live chat to the right-hand side of your screen, and my colleagues Stu and Hayley will answer any questions that you have. Please let me know in the poll in the top right-hand side of your screen whether you've already applied for Applied Science or whether you're here to find out more information today. If we don't have the opportunity to answer your question, please don't worry, and we'll pick that up via email after the session. Cool, that's good to know. So I'm going to share a short video from our principal, Simon Cook, who I'd like to introduce now.
Hello there, I'm Simon and I'm the principal of Mid-Kent College. It's great to be able to talk to you, and I so wish I would be able to talk to you in person, but virtually, hopefully your opportunity to get to know a little bit more about the college will help you with your decisions that you need to make. So over the next 30 minutes in this virtual open event, you're going to have an opportunity to meet one of the tutors from your chosen subject area. Really make the most of that time to find out what it means for you. Ask some questions. No question is a silly question. Please ask whatever question you've got. Take some notes, but make sure that you've got the info that you really need to make that decision about what you want to do in September. And if you're really not sure what you want to do, then you're not the only person. There are lots of people every year that we see. It won't be any different the current year under these current circumstances who really don't know what they want to do. There might be even some of you who are thinking you really don't know what to do because you see what's going on in the world and you're not quite sure what job prospects there may be. By the time you finish your programme, the world will be a different place again, and there will be many more opportunities then that may not exist now. So talk to our staff about it. And also don't be frightened if you don't know what you want to do. Have a look at some of our other sessions. Come into other sessions and see. What's really important, and one thing I say to everybody who comes into the college, you must feel comfortable with the people that you're going to be sharing your next few months and years with. And I want you to feel comfortable that you're going to be able to flourish and thrive as a person, not just study a qualification, but flourish and thrive as a person with those people you talk to. So if you don't get any of the answers that you think you need in the virtual session, we've got a brilliant team on our course inquiries, and we've got a brilliant team in our careers office who will help you navigate the language, what options there are, and for you, what's the right thing to do, which is a question we often get asked every year. I hope you enjoy your session, and I really, really hope that I get to see you very, very soon at the college, and we look forward to welcoming you with us in September, if not in person, virtually, that's for sure. Good luck.
So next I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Anne Finch, who is the Curriculum Manager for Applied Science and Animal Care. Anne, can you hear me? Cool, I'm going to add your slides for you now.
Hello everybody, my name's Ant. I'm the Curriculum Manager for Applied Science and Animal Management. And what I want to do first of all is give you an overview, particularly into applied science, particularly the two different levels we have at Mid-Kent College. We have a level 2, which is a GCSE equivalent. It's called the Level 2 Extended Certificate in Applied Science, and that's for people coming out of schools with around about the 4 grade 3s at GCSE, including maths, English, and indeed science, to get onto that one. And then we've got our Level 3 Extended Diploma, which is our advanced course, which is A-level equivalent. Really, to get onto that one, we're looking at you coming in with around about 5 grade 4s, including maths, English, and obviously indeed science, to get onto that one. What I want to do first of all is, I think with applied science, is talk about the choosing of applied science. In my experience, is that you don't choose applied science on a whim. You choose applied science because you really love science. Because it can be quite a difficult subject, but essentially I think the love for the subject and the absolute entertainment of it and intrigue in science and wanting to learn about physics, biology and chemistry is key even to get started with applied science. So I think the choosing of it for me is something that I find most people that come onto applied science really love it. I think that's key because it is such a specific area to go into study. So in relation to the starting points, it is really the best starting point for you in relation to your GCSEs and in relation to your comfort zone and in relation to what would be the best place for you to start to support your progression. Starting a level 2, the expectation there would be to perform well at the level 2, be comfortable, achieve a decent grade or a good enough grade to then be deemed to in order to progress to level 3 and then bounce up to level 3 the year after. So for me, it's about getting you on the right course at the right time for your level, and therefore promoting progression onto the next level up where you are comfortable to do so. So for me, it's all about progression. You know, your starting point hopefully is a love for science. You may well be a budding biologist or physicist or chemist. You might know at this point exactly what you want to do. You might not know. You might be a bit more open-ended where you're open to go through the units and then maybe you fall in love with something as you go through and you change your career path. Now, for me, I think applied science, generally career goal, a lot of students coming in from schools do know exactly what they want to do with it, because I do find that if you love biology, you're going to be a biologist. If you love chemistry, you're going to be a chemist. And fewer students love physics, but if you love physics, you truly love physics. So I find that quite interesting. So it's highly likely that you kind of have your favorite, but both courses will give you a thorough grounding at level 2 and at level 3 in each. So what I'm going to do now is talk about each level of course, but first of all, I mentioned there, you can see on the slide that both courses have a mixture of internal exam-based and external assessment. So the exams are externally assessed by BTEC and the internal assessment is assignment-based by your lecturers, but both courses are a mixture of exam-based and assignment-based. So it gives you kind of an understanding of what you're getting yourself into. Now, moving on to the level 2. The level 2 is an extended diploma in applied science, and as I just mentioned, it's designed to give you an introduction, an intermediate introduction into biology, chemistry, and physics. You get a nice mixture of both on each course, because it's likely you are going to move into biology, chemistry, or physics. We have to cover all three in applied science, and those are the fundamentals of science. You can see there unit examples and external assessments. You do have an exam on this course called Principles of Science, and then again, looking into some of the stuff you'll do with your lecturers, the internal assessments, you can see some living body stuff there, which is biology based and applications of life sciences. You've got some chemistry units like applications of chemical substances and chemical analysis and detection. And then you've got the core physics units like world energy and application of physical sciences. Now, it goes as unsaid, realistically, the level 2 for you, if that's where you start, is a progression route into and preparation for developing skills and knowledge for level 3 progression the following year. So the level 2 is a 1-year program, moving on to the level 3, which is a 2-year program. Again, it's advanced, it's 2 years, and it's equivalent to A levels. Essentially looking at doing both years to then move forward, whether it's into HE progression. You can see there the core elements of science, biology, chemistry, and physics are also present at level 3. And again, the level's gone up, so you're looking at a much more academic advanced course at level 3. Again, with the exam-based units, you've got principles and applications of science in year 1. You've got some assignment-based units in year 1, such as biological molecules and biochemical processes. So the biology is there. Practical scientific processes and techniques, and medical physics. So you've got your physics in there as well. So a nice grounding and stretch in each of the 3 disciplines. Moving on to level 3, year 2. Again, you've got your exams in year 2 as well as in year 1. In year 2, you got the ability or the prospect of doing your own project, based on your own desires. So basically what you can do is a project there. If you're a physicist, your project will be based on physics. If you're a biologist, it might be based in biology, but you get to choose that project and carry it out using our labs and facilities to do your own projects and have your own hypothesis and come to your own conclusions. Now, on completion of the program, it will give you the option to go into university. Essentially, we are very, very proud in applied science, the amount of our students that go into university. You can see an interesting stat there, 90%. Essentially, that's because your next step, mostly in applied science, to go into employment would be university before employment or an apprenticeship after you leave college. So it's highly likely that we will be one step in your journey. The next step may be an apprenticeship if you're lucky enough to gain one through work experience or outside links. But certainly HE and higher education is a very likely next stepping stone from applied science. Now, as far as resources go, again, I'm going to link this to university. One thing the universities tell us is how good our students are in labs. That's primarily because you've got purpose-built labs. The college is still relatively new, so these labs are very, very good quality to some of the things you may have in school. It depends what school labs you have, but our labs are, you know, fit for purpose and very, very good. And you spend a lot of time in the labs. I think I need to tell you that because of the BTEC structure, a lot of what you do practically leads into your assignments. So you'll be in the labs every single lesson of every single day, whether it be biology, chemistry, or physics. So you're always doing practical alongside your learning. And what the universities have told us is by the time our students get to university, they're actually a lot more practical savvy than most of the A-level students coming out of schools, because you are doing it all the time and it's consistent across the 2 or 3 years, depending on how long you've been with us. So we have, you know, we're very proud of our labs, and you'll spend a lot of time in there with Charlie, whether it's chemistry, with David, if it's physics, and with Alison, if you are a budding biologist. Looking on to trips, we do quite a bit. We go places like natural history in the science museums, are staple places that we go every single year. Alison, our biologist, has organised trips to the Royal Society of Biology. We've got, again, I've mentioned quite heavily the link to university and the likelihood that from a level 3 that you would go on to further study. But we've got an excellent link with the local universities in relation to them coming in to do some visiting speakers, but particularly the university mentor, where you get to pally up with a mentor at university to kind of find out about university life and get your questions answered. The big one there, when you look at a residential, is our CERN trip to Geneva, where you get to go and visit the Large Hadron Collider. And that's a 4-day trip, I believe, which is, again, we've been doing that for quite a few years now, and the students love it. You also go to quite a few other places in Geneva and Switzerland as you go around, but that's a very, very nice trip. Again, that's open to all, whether you're level 2 or level 3. It normally takes place around about February time. So moving on, so again, one thing I did want to big us up for, which I think we do really well, and primarily that's because of Alison, our biologist, who is one of the leaders in the college of STEM subjects. And what she does particularly well is link in with visiting speakers. We get a lot of visiting speakers coming in, so they could be doctors in their field, they could be ex-students, they could be university students. But what one thing we do supplement the course with a lot and heavily is people coming in that are scientists and actually talking to you about their journey and talking to you about the possibilities of what your journey might hold, and also giving you a bit of mentoring of how to get there. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an understanding of the enrichment that goes alongside the courses, as well as the labs and the trips. Now, what we do have is, career progression that's quite diverse. Now, all of these bullet points you can see here are places where our students have ended up, or jobs where our students have ended up doing. but primarily they're also university destinations as well, whether it be neuroscience, chemical engineering, nursing, pharmaceutical science, biomedical science, and going into the biology aspects of science as well, including marine biology. Again, it's a link. I also manage animal care, but you can also study to be a marine biologist with applied science as well as animal care. And we've had people going into veterinary nursing from applied science, and again, veterinary science too from applied science. Pharmacology, pharmacy, biotechnology, and physics. So it does really depend on where you want to go afterwards, but there's a whole wealth of endpoints for you from applied science, whether it be a biology discipline, a physics discipline, or a chemistry discipline. Again, it depends where you want to go afterwards. So we're looking at you doing your best job for the 1 or 2 years or 3 years with applied science to try and get the best grade possible, because we know in terms of university, that gives you the most options to go to university based on the entry requirements of that uni. So it's worth knowing, I think, if you're coming in for level 3, where you want it to end and where you want to go early. And this is where the links with Alison and the mentors come in relation to where your destination will be after college and possible HE. Hopefully that gives you an introduction into what applied science is and what the possibilities it might be. I will end it by saying, I do think this is one of the most important subjects that could be studied. I would say that because I manage the department, but in the world we live in at the moment, going through what we're going through at the moment, scientific discoveries and adaptations to processes are key, I think, for the future on this planet and moving it into an appropriate, decent, positive direction. Now, you lot coming in, the young minds studying science and finding out new ways of doing things, are one of the most important aspects for me that could be studied at college or university or school. So finding new ways and being fascinated by science is key to everything for me. So if you come to study with us, I think you're doing the best thing you could be doing. And that's me. I'm finished.
Cool. Thanks, Anne.
No worries.
So I've had a couple of questions through our live chat.
Lovely.
Are the trips compulsory?
Nope. Highly recommended. Again, with something like CERN, it does cost a few £100. So you're looking at, we do you have the money for that? We would say, look, there are some bursary as well. So if you qualify for bursary, you can get certainly the day trips covered by bursary. Residential external trips outside the country are not generally covered unless that's changing. But I would say highly recommended. Things like the university visits are generally free. So if we're going to local universities and doing tasters, they tend to be free because that's focused on the next step, which is you may be going to university. But again, they're not mandatory at all, and generally they're not that costly. Particularly things like the Natural History Museum or the Science Museum. The only real costs that we need to generate is a coach down to London, because the museums are free.
Cool, thank you. Has anybody gone into food science?
No, I'm trying to think actually. In recent years, possibly. I'm trying to think of names I could name drop, but I do know that food science particularly is a growing, nutrition and food science is an absolutely growing industry. It's one of the key things that's growing with applied science. And again, a key employment opportunity. It's not something from memory that I can think of that particular students have gone for recently, but it's certainly a growing subject, and one that's employing lots more people and has got lots more research into it as well.
So Dagmar has asked something that's very relevant at the moment around social distancing.
Yeah.
How many students will be in a class, and how are you planning to deliver practical and theoretical lessons as a result of this?
Again, we had a similar conversation before with the animal care, but we are subject to social distancing in the labs. We're looking at 6 in a lab. We do have 5 labs. We are currently looking at our kind of equipment and how we can best facilitate that in the labs as well. So it's highly likely that there will be smaller practicals, and those practicals will be rotating around whatever lab they need to be in to get that done. So we're looking at the best way to do that at the moment, but you should expect practicals will be running. It's one of the things that we had a chat as a team. there's one thing that we just cannot do remotely, which is practical. Whether that's animal care practical or applied science practical, it can't be done from home. It's impossible. It will be done on college, on campus, and it will be planned in such a way that it will be smaller groups going in on a rota, which is an opportunity. I said this with the animal care, to promote maybe a better experience, because there'd be less people doing the practical at one time, but they will be going ahead. And my team currently are looking at the best way to structure the year to make that happen, and also to look at what units to start with. If certain units are more practical based, what element of that do we start with? But everything essentially does require some practical, whether it's physics, biology or chemistry, and we're looking at currently the best way to deliver that. So it will be happening, so don't worry. And also Alison, my biologist, did say to any students I talk to, please tell them not to worry about the practicals, because they will be happening.
So don't worry, guys, your safety is our paramount importance, so don't worry, and we'll communicate more about that nearer the time. So do students need to have their own lab coat?
No, something we don't do anymore. We used to, but health and safety wise, it's a lot easier to have stock lab coats that stay in the labs. We used to give them their own lab coat, but again, we've changed that and we've got everything for you. There is a uniform expectation, which will be given to you when you enroll, which is basically free. You get 2 polo shirts and a sweatshirt, but the lab coats, we lay on everything PPE wise that you could possibly need. So there's no need for you to have your own stuff.
Cool, thank you. And Alice asked, how big are your classes normally?
They are limited to labs. So essentially you're looking at about 16 to 18 in the class. Sometimes they start slightly larger depending on the intake, but to give you an understanding of that, this year, level 2s, we had 18 students, and we had 2 groups of level 3 year 1s with 18 students. So roughly it's around about the 18. So we are mindful of health and safety as we go through the lab work, and where most of your lessons will be, all of your lessons will be in labs, because it's likely you'll have some theory, but also some practical at the same time. So again, I wouldn't imagine it's going to be more than 20 to start with, because we tend to keep it safe.
And we need to comply with social distancing as well.
Yeah, in the first instance, we've done the maths on it, and we wouldn't have more than 6 in the lab, and that would probably include a lecturer as well. So at the moment, social distancing is going to dictate everything. So if it is that we can only have 5 in a lab with a lecturer or technician, that's how it will begin. It might be that there's more practicals going on with less people in them to facilitate that.
Okay, and the last one. So this is from Mara. Please, can you just confirm whether the level 3 BTEC has external exams, and how many hours is it per week?
It's generally all courses, we believe, if the timetable was normal, like not affected by COVID-19, we're looking at 11 hours contact time on level 2 and level 3. So that's 11 hours in front of your lecturers. There is a big expectation of self-study. So a lot of what you do around the level 2 and level 3, you'll be set assignments and you will go off and work on them independently on your own. Every course, generally a level 3, you're looking at probably 3.5 days a week, 3.5 days a week, easy, maybe 4. Both courses have external exams and internal assessments. So generally around about January, there are exams on the level 2 and the level 3, January, February time in year 1. And in year 2, same thing as well. You also get the opportunity, if you're on a 2-year program, to have up to 3 goes at each exam. So there is a nice mixture of assignment-based and exams, but you will be busy with both. If you're talented and comfortable at both, it tends to filter into your grades. You get a higher grade across the piece. And it's good actually for the exams. Essentially, when thinking of higher education and moving into university, to have that ability in an exam scenario, as well as research and project work and assignment work, makes you a better candidate, I think, for university. Your question.
Yeah. So what is the work experience like? Can you give any examples of where your students have gone to for their industry placement?
Yeah, I mean, it can be difficult off the bat for work experience based on if it's lab work and age. So we do come up with a bit of a problem with health and safety sometimes with lab work. But where people have been most successful, we've had people going into obviously local things like pharmacies and Specsavers and local businesses that specify on science as well. So the best places, I think, or what the ones that the students find themselves based on what they want to do. We've had people work in environmental science and for the Environment Agency. But like I say, one thing we are aware of and has been more challenging in recent years is getting particularly students under 18 into lab work. It can be an issue. So I think with the advice we give students is to obviously think about what they want to do, what they want to experience, whether it be in the field of biology, chemistry, or physics, and kind of tailor make your work experience to that. Also, Alison has done quite a lot of work through STEM because we are aware that it is an issue. It can be a challenge to get the work experience to the amount of students that we do have. We look at other ways around it. So whether it's online work experience or whether it's doing some environmental stuff or even some kind of species stuff and habitat survey and implementing that in to get hours up. But yeah, it can be a challenge. Also, what not to disregard is the local hospitals. So lots of our students have great success going up to Medway Hospital and getting some work experience in particular departments that they could kind of tailor make their work experience to. Again, veterinary as well. So some of the students, if they're more in line with medical, have gone into the local veterinary surgeries as well. So we are aware it's an issue for applied science, particularly on lab work. Oh, and local schools. Don't forget your school. You can hopefully chat your school up and go back and shadow the technicians. We've had students doing that from their old schools and going working in the science department of their schools as well.
Great, thanks, Sam. So please keep your questions coming, and I'm sure Anne will answer a few others if we need to further on. But don't forget, Sue and Hayley are there to help you. So I'm going to move on and share a little bit more about the college as a whole. So applied science is offered from our Medway campus. We've got two campuses, one in Gillingham, one in Medway, but this one's applied science is only offered from our Medway campus. Both are multi-million-pound facilities, including workshops and salons. And as Ant mentioned, there's 3 applied science laboratories at our Medway campus. Both have got their own libraries, support, all 5, sorry. Both have got their own libraries, support teams and careers hubs. And there's bus stops right outside of our Medway campus. Our Gillingham train station is only, say, 10-15 minutes walk away, and lots of our students do travel that way as well. Unfortunately, we're not able to offer parking for our students at Medway unless you are a blue badge holder. But there's much more information about how to reach our campuses on our website. So your study programme is divided into 4 parts: your technical and professional qualification, and in this instance, applied science. And you also will study English and maths, depending on the level that you join us with. So this could be functional skills, GCSEs, or stress and challenge. In your personal development sessions, you'll cover everything from mental health to having a work-ready interview so you're prepared for the workplace. And in your industry placement, as Ant mentioned, you'll put those key skills that you learn in college into practice. We do advise you kind of look for placements, but we do have staff available to help you to find that placement. So some common FAQs that our course inquiries teams always tell us: how many days per week will I be in college? On a normal timetable for full-time students that are 16 to 18, this could be 3 to 3.5 days a week, plus your placement hours. This might look slightly different this year just due to social distancing. As Ant mentioned, we might need to have the laboratories on a rota basis. So please don't worry, you'll find out more about your timetable nearer the summer. Can I study more than one subject? Unlike A-levels, where you can do a bit of pick and mix of different subjects, at college you're only specialised in one, so applied science in this instance, and then you'll top those up with the English and maths industry placement and the PPT sessions that I mentioned. Can I go to university from college? Yes, many of our students, particularly applied science students, do progress on to universities, and our programmes do qualify for UCAS points. We will support you during the application process if that's for you, And you'll do lots of different visits, as Ant mentioned, to lots of different universities, so you'll get a flavour of what it's like to be an undergraduate. If university isn't for you, that's absolutely okay, and we'll support you during the time into the employment process as well. So what do the different levels mean? So roughly, a level 2 is equivalent to your GCSE, and a level 3 is equivalent to an A level. So how much does a programme cost? So our programmes are free and funded for 16 to 18-year-olds, and for those aged 19 plus, fees do apply, but there are concessions available, so we advise that you talk to us, and bursaries too. I've popped under the handout tab on the top right-hand side of your screen some FAQs, including about student finance. There are bursaries available to all age groups for food, uniform, etc. So please do talk to us as well as part of your application form. Is there a deadline to apply? So applications have been open since last November. It's likely we do accept applications into the first few weeks of September if places are still available, but we do advise that you apply as soon as possible, as some programs do become full. If they are full, you will be popped on the waiting list and you will be contacted if a place does become available. So there's so much more to college than just studying that you can get involved with. Everything from the pantomime to lots of different trips that Ant mentioned, through to refreshers and refreshers fair. We've got restaurants, etc. We do a lot of events throughout the year. So it might be a little bit different this year, particularly at the start of the academic year due to social distancing. But there's a lot to get involved in, including fundraising as well for our charity, which is the Kent Air Ambulance this year. So support available to you. So we appreciate that coming to college is a scary step for many. So please don't worry, we're here to help you during the application process and during the transition into college. So we've got financial support available. So as I said, please see the handout. Student welfare teams at both campuses, just if you need someone to talk to. We've also got trained counsellors as well as in-class support as well. So don't worry, you're not on your own. We are here to help you. Our impartial careers advisors are always on hand as well to talk you through your options and for what to do after college. If you want to talk to someone about your university options as well, as your tutors, they're the best people to talk to. So for more information on student support and careers, have a look under the help and advice tab on our website, and we are running separate webinars on those on Friday. So what's next? So the next step is, if you haven't already applied, please check out the different applied science programs on our website. Please use your predicted grades when completing your application form. So once you've submitted your application form, our admissions team have 15 working days to arrange a phone interview with a tutor, and they'll let you know via email about this. You'll be then offered a place from that. If you've already applied, that's brilliant. You might be waiting for your phone interview. Please don't worry, we're going to get in contact with you soon, and we're really looking forward to you starting with us. We do have other webinars available on lots of different topics, so please check those out. And if you need any help at all, please get in contact with us. We've got a really friendly course inquiries team who can be contacted on 01634 40 20 20 or live chat on our website, or just simply pop them an email with any queries that you have, and they'll be more than happy to get back to you. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope that was helpful. Thank you to Ant as well. And like I said, if you've got any queries, please do get in contact. We hope to see you again soon.